Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who is watching the show. Welcome to Global Electronics Friday Talk Show with your host Rajiv Kulkarni. Yes, I said good morning, good afternoon, good evening because I don't know which part of the world you're watching this show. And Global Electronics is a platform that we bring every week certain topic which is concerning electronics manufacturing activity. Yes, every week we have from design to manufacturing to process and the assembly and so on and so forth, whether it's a PCBs, whether it's assemblies, whether it's cleaning process, or whether it is electrostatic discharge, that is ESD. And today we are talking about the ESD actually. And as you know, Global Electronics main object is to bring in electronics manufacturing experts who are experienced in this industry, and we discuss with them to gain the knowledge, to gain as much as the wealth of knowledge they have and distribute it to all the engineers out there. So let's start. First of all, I would like to thank all the audience. I would like to thank all the supporters who are continuously supporting the channel as well as watching the channel and subscribing to the channel. Please continue to subscribe because the more the subscription, the more the viewership, and our guests will be happy and we will be happy. Let's start the today's discussion. Today's discussion is about how important it is to check on ESD in the electronics manufacturing. What is ESD? ESD is electrostatic discharge, which is very, very important to consider in the electronics manufacturing because ESD, electrostatic discharge, can happen, and the components which are based on the printed circuit boards that can go into malfunction and which will result into failures of the assemblies and failures of the system. So in order to how the ESD happens, what are the main reasons of ESD to happen, and how we can prevent this. ESD is a very vast subject, and it's there are many categories in the ESD, and so it may not be possible in one episode, so we might have to do 2 or 3 episodes. But let's talk to our guest who is an expert in the electronics manufacturing industry, who has been in the electronics manufacturing for more than 25 years, and he is an ESD consulting person from Esta Tech and based out in Guadalajara, Mexico, Mr. Matias Aliseda. Welcome to the show, Mr. Matias. Good morning to you. How are you this morning?
Thank you so much, Richard. Thank you for inviting me. I mean, to talk about a passion that I have for more than 25 years. So I hope that the audience can take with them some of the important issues that have to be uh, take care of on the assembling. But I mean, the ESD, we have to know how we make it, and we have to know how we control it.
Yes, absolutely true, Mr. Matthias. So, Mr. Matthias, let's start our interactive session. But before we go there, can you just briefly tell about you and your experience in the electronics?
Thank you. Yeah, as you mentioned, I have more than 25 years. I started in this ESD situation with 3M in early 1997. And then I start with Estatec in 2004, manufacturing products as you will know that to take care the ESD event. I mean, we are focused to resolve ESD issues, not just in the electronics. I mean industrial, the in explosions area, also medical,
Uh-huh.
pharmacy.
Yes. Okay, great. And what you're saying is ESD is such a huge thing, and it can occur anywhere in any part, any industry.
Yeah,
And having said that, so let's start. You would like to, you have any presentation that you want to
yeah,
share,
sure.
and then talk it over, about the slides and that you present, and then we'll continue our EST discussion.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, let me just, as you was mentioned, who are Estatec and what we
What you do, yeah.
Estatec, I mean, we are part of Mexico City, Mexico, Guadalajara. We have three plants. We are also in the U.S., supplying most of the pharmacy, medical garments, and semiconductors garments and plants. We have more than 25. We are in artist certified engineering, also for the ESD Association, engineering certified in so is well, these are some of the products that we manufacture here in Mexico. But I mean, the agenda. I mean, it's kind of as you was telling. This it's a lot of products, a lot of things to talk about. But we have to concern how the ESD affect in the semiconductors area. So, what
Yeah.
the type of the failures that we have, how the semiconductor fusions, and how the ESD damage can be doing. So type of damage, control, prevention, solution, ESD, international standards. I mean, we are going through a lot of topics. So excuse me if I go into a little fast, but it's
No,
such.
actually, yeah, definitely what we can do is we can talk about electrostatic discharge,
Yeah,
and also we can go to types of ESD damage,
yeah, exactly.
and then then we can talk about ESD international standards in today's episode. I think those 3 points we can cover in today's episode.
Yeah,
And
sure.
then in the next episode, we can try to cover semiconductor failure causes. And also we can talk about semiconductor functions, and then control prevention solutions in the next episode. And that
Yeah,
way we can cover
and also
complete topics.
one of my objectives in all my presentations is that to use good the ESG terms, because there's a lot of terms that they are not used well. So that's one of my objective for every presentation that I have. So what is
Absolutely,
static
absolutely.
electricity? I mean, static electricity is a charge waiting to do something. Okay, if that charge do something, I mean that's happened. Lighting is one of the ESD events that everybody knows. I hope anyone kind of stocks with a lighting, but I mean we are talking 2 million volts involved in a lighting. Also, the lighting or the ESD static generate a field, so that means that you don't have to just touch the semiconductor, so you can induce that charge and can damage also. So
Yeah,
it's kind of important because the static, when they move, generate current, and that is the transfer of the energy that damage the semiconductor. So the ESD consequences, I mean, is coming in contaminations, ESD discharge, as we are talking this today, and also, I mean that means shock of personal and disrupt the loss of data when we touch the laptop or whatever, no, and also
right.
the injection of flammable. So it's a kind of important in some other industrial ways to do something that coming with that. I mean, electrostatic. Everybody, everything, every thing on the universe are made by atoms, and inside of the atoms we have the electrons, and when we have these balanced electrons, we generate charge, positive or negative. So everything can be charged. That is one of the
Hmm.
things very important. the how we generate charge. I mean, the most popular way is friction. Well, that means that when we walk, when we travel my body, we can generate charge. The triboelectric charge generation, we use that word that coming from etymological for a week of tribal that means friction, but we separate two surfaces. So that means when we are walking, when you are moving the PC boards, when you and they take away from the surface, we can generate static. So the triboelectric is very important to take care of how and where you are doing that. Okay, so the triboelectric, when you are walking and when you touch something grounded, metal, you feel the discharge, the spark that for people, I mean, that means that doesn't mean sometimes doesn't mean anything. The humidity, we have to control the humidity because it's the impact of in on ESD, as you see in the chart. Walking on the carpet in summer, when when we are in 30s, more than 30% of humidity. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. But when we are in winter, especially in winter, and we are low than 30% of humidity, I mean, you can see the numbers. I mean, it's potential more than 30,000 volts. So that's a concern. Okay, this is
Mhm.
a chart for walking test. I mean, as a distinct song, every step you make, you see that you generate a lot of voltage. If you are not grounded, every step you can be making 100 volts peaks with 3,000. I mean, if you sit down or raise your feet and then again you stand up, I mean, you can see the amount of voltage that you can generate. And that also, as we know, you can see in this part of the letter that you generate field. And that is important because you sometimes the damage of the ESD damage, you think that is when you touch the semiconductors, and that is just part of the picture. That means that if you induce the charge and the PC board charge it, if you move the PC board and ground it, that means another ESD event. So this is kind of
Mm.
important to find out the situations inside of your plant of manufacture. So who generate charge? Work surface, floors, chairs, clothing, papers, or whatever packaging materials. That means insulators. The insulators generate a lot of static. So, but the personal, when it's
Mm.
handled, I mean, it's and you don't feel that it's pointed to you, but it's very important to be grounded. And I mean, I am starting to solution the ESD charge, but it's important. This is one of the things that I always put it because how much is much, you know. To the perception of the human perception is 3,000 volts. I mean, to feel a discharge, to feel a zap, is more than 3,000. To hear, more than 5,000. To to see it, I mean, in a winter night when you take away your sweater, that most of those sweaters are coming in nylon or polyester. I mean, you can see the sparks. I mean, that's coming at 2,000 volts. And I want
Wow.
to compare the type of the semiconductors technologies we have, and you can see the sensitive of these semiconductors. I mean, it's so low that the ESD coming to, I mean, you don't see it, you don't feel it. I mean, you don't see the smoke taking away from the PC board, from the semiconductors. So I mean, it's something microscopic that that become in the semiconductor. So the ESD solutions or ESD control, uh, uh, I say that it's kind of a fade something because you have to see, you have to know that something happened inside of the semiconductors, and this is the failures. I mean, we separate into the type of failures: the catastrophic one that becoming, I mean, tested, and you see that your product is not working well, is not doing what you are supposed to do it. So you see, and you have, and you know that have a failure inside of your plant, but it's in house. But that means just that is the 10% of the failures. Where what about the 90% of the rest? But it's a latent damage. I mean, you hit the semiconductors, the transistor inside of semiconductors, but pass your in-house test. Well,
Yeah.
the situation is that sometime in the future, sooner or later, like or not, will be failing. When? I don't know. I mean, probably with the next step of the production or with the end user. So it's kind of important because this latent damage is the most expensive one. I mean, quality, reputation, field service increasing, RMIs, customer confidence. I mean that's kind of important to know. Okay, how the semiconductor works. I mean, you know much better than me, but we have the source, the gate. I mean, and that coming like a transition on off, and that means that you can program in the semiconductors. Semiconductors come that sometimes is conductor, sometimes is not conductor. So it's 1 0 1 0 off on. But what happened if we something change in this programmation? I mean, the product will start doing something else. And that means that we can generate a spark inside of the transition. And that's coming and a failure, catastrophic or latent. So, I mean, sorry if I be rude, but I want to show with the photographs of the ESD failure inside of the microscopic um, transition. So, I mean, this is the story of the sensitive device of the ESD. In the, I mean, we have to have a robust device, and they were sensitive to 1,000, 3,000, whatever. But what happened in this new area? I mean, the nanotechnology. That nanotechnology they come from the size of the gate through the source or drain. I mean, they measure in nanometers, and the Moore law tell us that every 2 years will be compressing and increase the density of the transition, and this means that the semiconductor will be more and more sensitive of ESD. Today we are in 3 nanometers for support the IA new technologies for have to be in the same area, more and more capability of the semiconductor. Well, the ESG Association also have a professional design service. Is not just design the semiconductor; it's design the semiconductor, but must try to be not as sensitive as the products, because it's smaller and smaller and smaller. So I mean, a device that is not as sensitive as the other one can be cheaper because all your ESD program can be easy than the robust one. Okay. So what about solution? I mean, that's part of the other talk, but just let I mean, I'm not a rude guy, so let me tell you how we can control the ESD. We have to prevent charge generation. So please let the human resource people that contract people who doesn't generate charge. I mean, that doesn't happen. I mean, everybody can be charged. Everything can be charged because we are made of atoms and electrons. So what we have to do is dissipation. That is one of the ESG terms, very very important. What about if we cannot prevent the charge or dissipate the charge? We have to neutralize the charge. But what about if we cannot do anything of these three things? We have to shielding. I mean, we have to move it all around the in different part of the production area, or we have to move to another country or whatever. We have to shield the sensitive device. So we have to be preparing the EPA, that is an electrostatic protection area, all the controls. I mean, I'm going to pass this very fast, all the control that we have to have in the EPA. But I mean, it's not as I tell my guys, it's not a piece of cake. I mean, it's not a enchiladas made, you know. We have to take care of this. So the study cannot be totally prevented. It's only limited. I mean, you have to know your process. You have to know the sensitivity of your device, so you can set up the specific program manager plans for ESD control. So I mean, let me tell you this: if you send your product to be tested, I mean, they are coming with an ESO ESD, that means electrical overstress, that the ESD is part of the electrical overstress, but all the electrical overstress are not ESD events. That is important.
Right,
But I
right.
mean, 60% of the failures coming from the ESD and EOS. And the rest is the processes issues that you have to be controlled. But I mean, it's a lot of things that, I mean, that way, every year we have to train more and more people that need to be trained. Okay, so
Excellent.
prevention, as I was telling you, these words, you know, that cause me tickles. I mean, I don't really like the word anti-static. I mean, the anti-static is not making charge something, and that property coming more for the insulators, for the plastics. They put you a surface lubricity. I mean, you are increasing the hydroscopic property to the product, but that means it's low charging. So the ESD
Mm.
took away the word anti-static and put low charging, because we'll make 1, 2, 3, 10 volts, but they will be making the charge. So that is a surface and expire that property. So we have to go with a more with a property that is you can control it. That is dissipation. So dissipation is much better property to be controlled. Okay, what is dissipation? Remove charge for the conductors. You know, they're resistant to ground. I mean, we have to ground it. Everything in your plant that can be grounded. I mean, conductors or dissipators materials have to be grounded. And then it's easy. You control the charge because they go to ground. But sometimes it's not as easy as. But I mean, anticipation is a slow rate. I mean, as you see in a lighting, is a energy transfer energy very fast. Well, that is an ESD event. So why we have to go very fast with the conductive materials? We have to have dissipated materials to go not as rapidly, but I mean go slowly to avoid an ESD event in the mats or in the wrist straps or whatever. So please take away the that we are dressing an ESD garment, anti-static garment, anti-static wrist strap, anti-static heel grounder, anti-static mat. I mean, that are not anti-static. They are dissipated, and it's much better that can be dissipated. So to determine that the dissipation, I mean, and that's the models of damage is very important. The human body model, the church device model is how we can damage the product, the device or machine model. So I mean, this is an ESD event charge. I mean, in a
Mm.
very small time, 20 nanoseconds, we can generate a lot of energy, 40,000 volts, more than 60 or 80 amps. So I mean, the type of energy can, can damage very easy and very fast. So human body model, is when you are not grounded, when you are using wrist strap, heel run, or whatever, and you have charge, and you touch the semiconductor, and they transfer the energy through the PC board or through the semiconductors. So we have to be grounded. But in the charge device model, I am not the bad guy, but someone put the device ungrounded and something induction charge to the device. But we touch the device. The SMT machine touch the device.
Yeah.
So that means the energy go through the device to the grounded. But that is an ESD event also, or the SMT machines. If they are not grounded when they are touching the device, that is a machine model. So it's time of a different type of damage that we can control inside of the production. So dissipation. We have, as was mentioned, the heel rounders, floors, shoes, wrist wrap, but have to be grounded. Work surface, people, yeah, and the electrical ground have to be that is another issue to talk about, but it's important to ground all these. So please don't 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 use the word anti-static anymore. Dissipation or low charging. Okay, so that's one of my point always in my. Okay, I cannot ground it. There is an insulation. How can be handled? Well, neutralizing. Ionization is the most uh, 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 it's a very, very good uh, way to neutralize. You can use the staticides, but as I was telling you, that staticides is just a surface. It's just when you are putting your lotion in your hands. How much time you can still have in that lotion. Okay, so the ionization is the most effective way to neutralize all the insulators that you must have inside of the plant. If you have insulators like a polystyrene polystyrene glass, that you have to take away that. Okay, well, and shielding. Shielding is just a Faraday cage. You have to put inside of a shielding bag, and if you can, if you put that, doesn't matter what's happened outside. You can be dancing with a plastics, you know, and doesn't happen inside of that bag. Doesn't. I mean, the PC board or the sensitive device will be good because nothing go inside of the shielding bag or conductive containers, that you can be using. Okay, so that is one of the things that or the ways to control it. The international standard that we have. The ESD Association have the main one that is an ESD. ANSI ESD as 2020. The last version is 2021. We were part of that, and we translate in Spanish that. And for Europe, we have the IEC Seal 1340. That is the one using in Europe. Okay, and the fundamentals: grounded. If you cannot ground it, neutralizing, ionization. If you cannot doing that, and you have to move the products outside of your EPA, shielding. That is the three fundamentals for the ESG control. It's not as easy as I'm telling you in just 4 minutes, but
Correct.
that is the way to be. Okay, that is one of the points because of the ESD. I mean,
Yes.
every year we have millions of dollars wasted for each. And sometimes it's just what you can measure. I mean,
Yeah.
the RMI. I mean, you have a lot of field service calls, or you have to go pay your field engineering to go and change something or move something. I mean, that's the way that you can know the cost. But that is a lot
I
of
think,
cost.
yeah, I think as per the industry standard, ESD, because of ESD, the revenue in the industry can reduce up to 7%. So that kind of negative impact it can have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
please, yeah,
exactly.
please continue. Yeah.
I mean, just let me tell you some real companies from 1993 to today. I mean, data service after implementing an ESG program, they 40% of the reduction of number of failures registered, 30% of the service call. I mean,
Mhm.
it's kind of the return of investment in 9 months. I mean, that's important to have an ESG control program. Okay, work Wilpur. I mean, they have problems with the washers, dishes, and today, I mean, you can see your washer, dishes. I mean, it's a lot of electronics inside, just like the automotive. I mean, the cars, they have at least the most very low cost car. You have 8,000 electronics products inside of. So I mean, after implementing the easy control, they 33% reduction of the field failures of Wilbur's from Plas Electronics. I mean, it's kind of a AT&T when they used to manufacture. This is in 1995, I think. I mean, 30% of the component failures. I mean, savings $120,000. I mean, it's not a it's a big number.
So
So I
it's a
mean,
big amount.
yeah, Hewlett Packard. I mean, Paradise. I mean, most of the telecommunication they have to be care. I mean, of that. So I mean, one of the points that I really wants to put here is you have to be trained because I mean every plant has its own way to do something. So the
Mhm.
ESG control have to be custom. Have to be. I mean, you are not doing exactly the same as your partner in front of your gate. I mean, you do something different. So you have to have your your ESG program for yourself. So the training is so important, to have an ESG coordinator in charge of all your plans. So please avoid this. These poor guys decide to train the people when they have a bunch of PC boards burned, waste. I mean, now I'm learning the ESD fundamentals for ESD control. I mean, you have to train all your people. So this is very important. A strong lab is our laboratory here in Mexico. It's the first ESD, focused ESD laboratory who do that. I mean, you're not training, the ESD assessment certification. Today, the ESD 2020, the standard, they tell the user that everything that you will use inside of your plant have to be certified. So the wrist wrap, floor, garments, everything that you are using, the containers, the bags, everything has to be certified by the standards method. I mean, and most of the standard method has to be in 12% humidity. Why? Because if you pass that test, I mean, any part of the work will be working with any problem. So I mean, it's kind of important to find out. Or if you are very deep and you know a lot of ESD, you can do this. This guy make an ESD shielding cap to avoid the aliens abduction. You know,
Mhm.
so the ESD can be anywhere. So I mean, don't do that, by the way. But I mean, that is the point that I mean, we got through a presentation that probably can be in 3 or 4 hours, and the
Yeah.
concept can be go through in 3 or 4 days. I mean, the ESD Association has the tutorial for ionizations, for packaging, for ESD class zero sensitive devices, and they focus in that type of very, very sensitive devices. I mean, have to be trained. That is one of
Correct.
the points, and use
Correct.
correctly the ESD terms also.
Great. So one question is, what services Estat Tech provides on the EST?
What type of service? I mean, the one
Yeah.
who made service is Stromlab. I mean, Estatec make a manufactured product. So I think
Okay.
that we cannot be part of the solutions. So that's why Stromlab has his own engineering, and I mean, if they have to use something that Estatec doesn't have, or I mean,
So Estat makes products.
yeah,
Okay.
Estatec make product. I mean, make
Okay.
the
What
ESD
what kind
garments.
ESD garments? Okay. What else?
Yeah, ESD garments. I mean, the ones that we talked in the beginning are for clean rooms, for
Okay.
regular ESD ones, and wrist strap, anti-fatigue mats, mats for surface.
Okay.
Um,
Oh,
right
here
here.
it is.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Yeah.
that's what we make.
So these are the products you make to
ESD
basically
shielding bags. Yeah,
for the
shielding bags, and
EST.
also special bags, with BCI, or with no woven inside. I mean, depends of the application. I mean, the word that
Okay.
we always use is application. Yeah,
Application.
and
Excellent.
Stromlab is the one that do the service. I mean, certification for people, areas,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Great.
calibration for equipment, and training.
Oh,
I mean, train
okay.
the ESD control guys, or regular production people. I mean that's how the ESD assessments are very important. I mean, because the
Absolutely.
ESD ANSI ESD 2020, you can be certified as an ISO.
So one more question is, if somebody wants to buy the product, where they can reach you? You have a website?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What
We
is it?
are estatec.com. It's easy.
Estatech.com. Okay. Okay.
Estatec.com.
So the audience, please make a note. If you have any ESD type of product requirement, so Estatech manufactures different types of ESD product like clothing, the mats or the shoes or the ESD bags and so on and so forth. You can definitely contact them at estatech.com. And the company you said Strombill, right? And
Stromlab, yeah, Stromlab is the
yeah,
one. I mean, that make all those service. I mean, this is my
so
information, so I can
yes,
pass
yes,
your comments to the Stromlab area. I mean,
yes.
and
SM Lab basically provides you the certification, the ESD testing, and what are
exactly,
the norms and standards that you need for your facility. So definitely you can contact them as well. So very
yeah,
good, Mr. Matthias. It was very beautiful presentation, although it was quite quick and
yeah, that's
uh,
true.
that is okay. And we can definitely talk again, how we can do the prevention of EST, in
Yeah,
one of the next episode, because prevention is definitely a very, very important topic. People want to know, People want to know that ESD happens for various reasons, but how we can prevent. So we probably can discuss that in one of our next episode. So thank you very much for sharing your wealth of knowledge and also the details about Estatec, Mr. Matias,
Yeah.
and Mr. Matias is with Estatec based in Guadalajara, Mexico, and definitely as he mentioned that estatec.com provides you all the information and the products that you want to buy about ESD. So do not
Yeah.
forget, ESD is a very, very important factor in the electronics manufacturing, because if there is an ESD, then whatever products you manufacture, then it will just be a big waste and a big disaster from the revenue point of view. Mr. Matthias, you have any message to our audience you want to give before
No, no, no.
we sign off?
I thank you so much. I mean, I always say that I am more intelligent in Spanish than in English. But
No,
anyway,
you're excellent. You're excellent.
yeah. But
So yes,
I mean, anything that you really need. I mean, we call this that we don't manufacture products for ESD. We we resolve problems. I mean,
okay, yes.
that's one of the things
Resolve
that we have
you
to do.
resolve the problems. Yes,
Exactly.
you are a solution company, I can say.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Thanks so
Excellent. Thank you
much.
very much. Thank you very much, Matthias. And thank you all the audience for watching the show today. Please do subscribe to Global Electronics, because we bring every week one new topic in the electronics manufacturing. And if you want to participate, please get in touch with me and you can participate. You can advertise your company logo. And so you can do many things through our platforms. Thank you very much and have a
Thank you.
wonderful weekend and take care. God bless. Bye now.
Bye. Thank you. Muy trabajo.